All right. We're just gonna wait a few more minutes for everyone to join in, and then we should be good to go right after.
Thank you for setting this up.
No, of course. This is, I think, one of the most hyped events that we've had with what people have wanted to actually see us speak about. So I think it's going to be super fun conversation. A lot for people to drop in and ask questions about as well. I think you're an elusive man to find. So,
hey, you know how to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
You know where to find me.
Yeah. Right in the SYC.
I see every sales influencer on LinkedIn is like posting this 3% thing.
Yeah.
It's funny. Some of them said 30 and they didn't understand how complaint rates. I'm like, 30? No way, man. You understand, like, the internet is not like, they don't like anything over 3. Like 5 is like,
yeah.
Amazon is going to come to your house at 5 if you're in email marketing. People are like, you mean 30? I'm like, no, not 30, 3. I love people.
Yeah.
They just they see the best in all this stuff, and I don't. I see the impact.
All right. We have people popping in. Swapnil, if we can just enable chat so we can just have some interaction dropping in there, and be good to get some questions off people and let us know where they're from and stuff.
Yeah, we got to do some polls. I would love to hear like where people are hosting their emails, where they plan in the future. You know, that would be great. Just really, guys have really taken a great lead on this deliverability stuff. I really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, Swapnil. Good to see you all. Good to see you, Abhishek. Love you, man. Hope you're crushing it in Kolkata. And Swapnil, like I said, it'll be great to have, I know we haven't planned this, but it'll be good to have a quick poll, maybe just on what ESPs people are using.
Google, Microsoft.
All right, workspace and Outlook. Yeah, don't worry, we're all in there with you. We've got solutions though. We'll work on solutions.
This is definitely the biggest news out there right now. It sounds like you know, it sounds like this news is just crazy. I mean, I mean, I'm up to like 250,000 views on that post I made yesterday. On that one, I don't even know. It was just I was just talking about the outrage thing. You never know really what's going to happen on social media, but they definitely like to talk about this one. I don't know.
Okay. Sweet. All right. Yeah, Jay, we need some guidance on how to pivot from here because workspace now. Look, I don't think it's done for. It's just need to be a little cautious in the way we handle things. That's all. And I guess we can use today's call to discuss.
Don't send spam. That's the start of it, right? Don't send bad emails that people don't want to read.
Step 1, mail reef and inframail. I didn't find that good. I'm not gonna say anything about those two.
Watch out for the new LTD of the week, taking a $40 product to the market.
$59, everything under the sun. Of course, there will be no implications. Forever. We all want to be stuck with that. Cool. We'll be kicking off in about 5 minutes, 3 minutes past 10 a.m. EST, just to give some people some time. Moritz, good to have you on, mate. Thank you for jumping on. So if any haven't joined, the question was super simple to ask you. Drop us a question on where a comment on where you're from and what's your current ESP. Also do note, drop any questions you have during the chat. We'll be collecting that. And we've got some pretty cool. Thank you, Swapnil, for running that. That is awesome. I have dropped in my poll. Oh, hosts and panelists can't vote. Never mind. All right, we can't vote. Just fair. Drop in your ESPs. We'd all love to know what ESP you're using. That'll be something super fun for us to understand, and we can draw a lot of questions from that. Drop in your questions in the chat as well, or in the Q&A section rather. Actually, just drop in the Q&A section, and we will get to that right after. Will you be sharing the recording? Anonymous attendee, yes, we will be sharing the recording, but that does not mean you should leave, because there's always something unique that is being shared live that may be snipped out at the end of the call. Nigeria, we love that. We love it. We love it. We have a bunch of people. Yep, we'll be waiting for another 3 minutes and begin the webinar. It's 10 a.m. Good morning to everyone in the EST zone. Good early morning to everyone in the PST zone. Good afternoon to Europe. Good evening to India. And good early morning to Australia. OH, I don't know what OH means. Ohio. Is that Ohio? Is that?
Yep, Ohio.
All right, there you go. Sorry, the foreigner in me did not know that. All right, Google's taken majority, 73%. Sheesh. All right.
Let's move around here. First of all, I would never tell people where I'm going to be putting my email boxes, but you'll find them out there if you get an email from me, if you're lucky enough, right?
Yeah. All right. Another 2 more minutes, one more blast ad. People will be popping in soon. And I'll also push out the announcements for everyone to join. Hey, Dario. Good morning. Hi, Sunny. Hey, Robin. Good to see you there. One of us is actually joining in from their flight, their mid-flight. I think that's Dean. That'll be fun as well. So sweet. Cool. We're live in 2 minutes, everyone. We've got a bunch of very, very cool questions to share. Like I said, drop your questions in Q&A. It's rare to find the big man himself over here answering questions for you. Jesse's an extremely busy person, as you've all seen, managing I don't know how many high engaged communities. If you're not part of SYC, if you've come in from another place, SaaS Yacht Club is pretty much the inception, and I can say that on record, it's an inception for Smartlead, and I owe a lot of what we've learned, what we've built, and what we've originated for the product through the advice we've received from Jesse over the past year and a bit. And, we're very grateful to be one of the top players in the market right now, and that's come through his guidance. So, lots of hype for SYC. There you go. He's dropped it in the chat. nas.io SYC, please drop that, please join that. It's very tight in terms of whether you'll be let in or not. So, drop it in, and hopefully Jesse pops you in there. Make sure you got your LinkedIn profile and stuff spruced up, and you'll be given access to that exclusive community. That's all under Jesse's discretion. 1 more minute, and we'll be.
Everyone's allowed. We let anybody in there. Don't worry anymore. I can't stop people from getting back to that inbox.
Yeah, well, there you go. We'll be kicking off. All right, we've got 82 strong audience, plus we're live streaming in a bunch of other places, so a heap of people watching. This is great. Which community is that, Rich? It is Sales Yacht Club, as the screenshot, as a drop-down shared by Jesse. It's a WhatsApp community. Like I said, everyone, drop in your Q&As there. Dexter, hello from Houston. We love ourselves. I think it was was it a Houston F1? It was the F1 that happened in Houston, right? But anyway, we'll be popping in very, very soon. I'll give it another 10 seconds and we will start. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. SYC is worth the $9.99. SYC is worth every single dollar, whatever it might be. Pay for it. So, all right, everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We are kicking off a very, very hyped event. We've got Jesse Ouellette over here from Sales Yacht Club, from Lead Magic. He is the email deliverability master on LinkedIn and on the internet. I can officiate him on that note. Jesse, just because we have to for the sake of it, even though people know who you are, if you don't mind, can you quickly introduce yourself and we'll run straight into this? Lots to speak about.
Yeah. Well, about probably like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I started to talk about the problems that were being created. It really even started with email signatures, but this was like probably 3 years ago, before COVID even. And I started to talk about it, and definitely there was a lot of people that were like, no, you're crazy. There's no way that will ever happen. And then even last year, I predicted the end of sort of traditional enterprise SaaS sequencers. And here we are, right? The biggest news now on, especially on LinkedIn. And I guess my role right now, I'm founder of Lead Magic, where we have a couple of different products. One that helps people find out who's on their website to target them. And then we also have a new product that we've made as an add-on to Smartlead right now that's in sort of testing, but also is released and people can get it at our website. And we're helping people get back to the primary inbox. It's a big mission I set out on, and I think it's really great. By the way, thank you for having me, Smartlead, because I know you guys have been helping me get to that mission. Like I just couldn't find anybody that was as committed to this problem as I was back in the day. And I think we're here now, right? We have to acknowledge that we both, you and me, were right on this one. So, it's not really even worth talking about if we were right or not anymore. Now it's more about how right we were.
Yeah. For context for everyone, not to, just hype it up. We're already there. Jesse and I spoke about this 3 months ago. This notice came out, a while back in another group, and we spoke about it, and we knew this was happening. So it's happened just because obviously it's hit the news everywhere. But so Jesse, let's jump into it, man. I think we've got 110 people over here across different and more from other groups. People want to know. Let's talk about a few things, right? Step one. Let's talk about the changes. What's happening? What does this Google thing mean to the market?
So what it means is Google is going to be looking at their users a lot more now. They're going to basically look at something called their complaint rate. Now, this is a very standard. It's funny. I mean, in the email marketing world, this is like a very standard number, right? Like everyone knows what this number is. In sales and kind of sales, where it is starting to go towards email marketing, right? Google has obviously figured out, wow, these people aren't really there's no person on the other end of it, which was the whole lie in the beginning, right? Like that there actually was an SDR or was somebody actually there. So that lie is over now, right? They know it's not somebody doing it. There's, the manual sequencers are all getting laid off. So let's be real here, right? Let's just not like, I know I got called out for that one, but anyways, I guess what's happening with Google is they're going to, if you're getting over a 3 complaint rate they're leaving a little bit of vagueness to it. From my perspective, it looks like it's at a domain level. They will block, and they haven't actually rolled out this new suspension yet, right? So it happens in like February.
Yeah, Feb.
But they're going to block that. Now, they haven't said how they're going to do it. So they're blocking the accounts now pretty aggressively, right? When this happens. However, the org and the domain level is what is sort of coming into play. Probably they could tell you it's the org level. Will they actually do that? That's going to cause a lot. Remember, there's a backlash on everything. Maybe not in the beginning, but it's going to be at a domain level, which is going to be interesting. So go ahead.
Okay, no, that's absolutely fair. Now I want to speak about what you've just said, which is how do we handle disconnects right now? This is February, it's far away. 2 and a bit months away. But for people who are facing disconnects right now, because this has been happening for a little bit, right? A bunch of people are facing disconnects. Yep. And I want to jump in very quickly to give Jesse the credit where it's due. And if you've seen the previous events, I don't hype people up as much, right? Is because Jesse does not complain about disconnects. And it's very clear when people don't manage the infrastructure the right way, right? Jesse manages, I would say, hundreds of thousands of mailboxes. But yes, some disconnects happen, but the man knows his way around it. So I'd love to understand from you who's done this. I learned from you, right? How can everyone else pick up what you're doing? What are you doing that we're not?
Yeah, so we have been very serious about this disconnect problem. I saw that this was actually becoming a bigger problem than really anything, actually, which is why we're sort of pivoting a little bit towards more helping agencies out and a lot of that. But what's going on is when these disconnects happen, there's any set of randomness that goes along with it. Right now, we're seeing a lot more with Google. Google is clearly done playing around. They're going to start to really make this a lot harder. Sometimes you'll get the 2-factor verification stuff that you have to deal with, which is always a pain. And it's actually can be costly if you're sending different types of campaigns. Those are where you have to actually enter in a cell phone number. Hopefully it's yours, right? And by the way, I always say these things like, you got to follow the terms and conditions of all of these platforms, like never break laws in your country. A lot of this is theoretical that I'm talking about, research-based kind of information. So I want to make sure I'm clear there. I'm not recommending anything. But if you are going to get around it, you're going to use sort of like PVA, or you're going to use sort of like two-factor authentication systems, you're going to have to kind of have the right cell phone numbers and things like that. There's a lot of things there, but you're really going to have to start with a standard operating procedure. I've got a guy on my team, Lakshay. He's our ops guy, and he runs it out of India. And he really, I mean, he just really knows this stuff well, and I give him credit. But we talk about all of the different disconnects that might exist, and obviously we always follow Google's terms and everything. But this is just it's changing a lot, and you got to know which one you're hitting. And when that happens, I mean, immediately you got to go talk to your clients, of course, right? Like that's the thing you got to think about is what's causing this? Why are people complaining? And Google's made some upgrades to their postmaster. You want to get your domains verified in there pretty quickly, because then you can at least monitor the actual, you can monitor it now, right? There's an API that you can pull from now and see your domain it looks like it's only amongst other Google users though, which is an interesting play versus like AWS or whatever.
Okay.
So I would institute that and verify your domains in there quickly. That way you can see your daily complaint rate, and you can start to see if there's issues that are starting to arise. We're keeping a close eye on this. And obviously we talk to clients like, hey, you can't be sending emails like this. This is ridiculous, right? Like you just got to be safe about it.
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Is there anything to do with, I want to drop in this, common myth question people say is like, hey, I'm paying for the paid account. It says I can send 1,000 or 5,000 emails a day. Why? What's wrong with you? Why are you telling me only to do 50 or 60 a day? So please.
So the first thing I would do is
listen, but carry on.
Yeah, the first thing I would do is stop blaming any support company. I don't care who you're using for email sequence provider. Like you got to stop blaming the provider, because they're, and I'm not, by the way, this was not prepped. I was not setting this up.
So just as a reference for before, just to interrupt everyone, this is the most loosely held conversation. There's no notes, there's no structure. It's just because there's so much shit to talk about with Jesse. We've kept this completely vanilla, right? That's why I said drop your questions in Q&A. We'll always pick them up. So, but yes, Jesse, carry on.
Yeah. So the biggest thing about that is, first of all, don't blame your sequence provider, right? That could be very dangerous for you, right? Because like, you want to stay in good terms with these people that are providing Smartlead, especially. But what's happening is if you get into this jam up where you're starting to get disconnected, you're starting to deal with that. What that means is you've got to check the campaigns themselves. Maybe drop back on the number of sends, the volume you're sending on that account, that domain. You've got to start to take different precautions with your clients, and you've got to educate them on that. Now, I know clients are very demanding, and you want to be very careful there, but we are seeing Office has been a little more tolerant of sort of complaints. However, there are fundamental issues that we've found in the Office platform where a lot of your org information gets transferred over to Google, and I'm sure Google sees this too. So I think all of these vendors are going to start working together eventually, but take advantage of it now. You're going to have to send lower volumes, right? So if you're at 50 a day, go to 35. Right? If you're at 2 accounts, go to 1. I mean, these are the types of decisions you're going to have to make as you're doing it. Turn up the, go a little higher on the email warm up, and, certain things like that. Like don't max out the email warm up. That's actually not good either. That's really bad. Stay around like 40% or 35% or 45%. That's usually where we're at, just depending on what we're doing. But we're looking for lockouts. You've got to be very careful of what you're doing there.
Okay. And when you say you're looking for lockouts,
yes.
Can you explain? I'm non-technical. Assume I am non-technical. What does that mean? What am I looking at?
Yeah. So what we look for on our lockouts, actually, we've even got a dashboard, and I'll screenshot this and you can include it. What we do is we actually are using, and Smartlead has an amazing feature, this webhook lockout functionality, where you can push the lockout to an API endpoint or to your webhook, and you can sort of log it. So what I'm looking at, what I have on mine is I will look at all of my accounts, and what I'll notice is I'll say, wait, this one's way over. What am I doing at this account? Like what is it going? Like I'm looking at, like even, I think we'll have one, I'll say, okay, that one's a little weird. Why are we getting such a high disconnect rate? That there's something going on there, right? As you're doing it. So what I say is take every webhook that comes in, log it, into a data sort of a database, and we'll do more workshops on this. I know we've got some planned, and but basically what we say is log everything and then start to analyze the data at a central level and use those webhooks to understand what is going on. Why is that? You know, like I'm looking at one right now, they had 6 lockouts on that day. This other one had 1, you know, and then nobody else had any other ones. The one was 6. Like, what did we change there? You have to monitor this stuff now. Like, you're going to have to really start to look, because they're kind of ambiguous about why they locked you out. You know why they locked you out. You don't have to ask the question. You were sending unsolicited emails, which are perfectly legal and you should be. But it's just one of those things. Like, you're going to have to monitor what you're doing and when you created the account, when was it disconnected. And that's why I choose Smartlead to do this, because they have some of the best, functionality around this.
Okay. I just one question before we jump into a quick poll. Can you explain to people what a lockout is? I guess you're anti-lucky for not experiencing this yet, but go for it.
Yeah. So when you start to manage different inboxes and different types of campaigns, what happens is if the users complain at a certain percentage, right? And so it's funny, there's a lot of people on like LinkedIn talking about this thing. I've been watching this thing already happen, for months. Like I knew this was, I know exactly what's going to happen next too. So, keep watching, we'll find out. But basically what happens is these lockouts happen, and it just means you have to enter in it's like a 2-factor. It's like disconnected, Smartlead isn't able to do anything there. You actually physically have to be there, right? Or you can use, we would never do that. TOS, but you could basically get it so it reconnects the account, and then you could start sending again. When these disconnects happen, you have to monitor what is actually changing or going on and slow down that domain name, and that you have to send less out of that domain, and you want to start to move around sort of infrastructure. And this is what we've been talking about it from a managing infrastructure, and there's some advanced tactics. And I would only talk to it with other Smartlead users, really, because I think the rest of the kind of groups are a little bit more, they're 101, right? This is certainly a 102, but it's when Google says we are not going to let you send any more emails because a lot of them are coming back as a complaint.
Makes sense.
Or Microsoft says it too, right? They have their own lockouts. But those are the types of issues you have to deal with.
That is absolutely fair. Hopefully people pick that up. I want to jump in very quickly on a quick poll. Swapnil, do you mind dropping in the poll that I would like the audience to answer? Everyone, we're going to keep this interactive. Drop in your question, because it's going to help us steer the conversation. Like I said, it's super dynamic over here. So drop in your question, and we're going to draw some questions, because Jesse knows the answer to everything. So we're going to try, put in as much as we can. Take 30 to 45 seconds to answer this, and then we'll jump into this. We'll get the answer of the poll. I guess, Jesse, while everyone's pulling in that information, one thing I want to start speaking about is what to do when it comes to managing campaigns, and who do we hold accountable when these things happen. So I just answered that. All right. The Smartlead add-on can help. We'll answer Smartlead questions later, but I think while people are answering these polls, we'll give them another 30 seconds. I really want to know what we can do next. What can we do to manage this, and what's the next piece? Yeah.
So the next step, I think, is going to be, what you're going to want to do is, let's say you're about ready to load a campaign for a client or whatever, right? What you want to do is evaluate what they're trying to do, right? And this is where I'm going to tell you, like, the old way was you kind of let the client drive the whole thing. Now, what you do is you kind of want to let them do that. However, you've got to have some boundaries, and, because what I mean by that is, you're going to be the one, this is where, as a lead generation company, you're going to be the one that's actually going to have to deal with the hard work of making sure these inboxes stay alive and whatnot. What we're seeing you want to do is, first off, start by what they're asking for. And, is it even relevant? Like, is this the right, like, you're going to have to sort of tell them no more than yes in a lot of ways. And you want to be a lot pickier, and you want to, like, if you're running Smartlead, charge more money, right? Like, don't take every client, like, this, just say, this doesn't really sound like a great, like, they have to sell you on this product or whatever they're trying to offer. I mean, from a high level, if you're sending, I'll give you an example. You're sending out 4 sequence emails, right, in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Like, read them. Are they annoying? Are they just free bumps? Like, if you're not adding any additional value, or you're kind of being annoying, like, don't do that. And I guess annoying is not really measurable, but what we're finding is the fifth email is going to get you in some deep trouble. I think you got to keep it down to 4. You've got to be plain text. These are the ones that are sort of getting less. And I think you kind of want to stop after 3 or 4 and don't break up with them. It's not really your place to do that. You don't even know that. That's completely psychotic that you're trying to like break up with them like that. The guilt ones, I report every guilt email as a spam myself personally. So don't do that. That's just annoying. So I think you got to just like take a step back, think about this from a holistic view. And if you're over 5, and you're starting to get a lot of lockouts, that's when Google or Microsoft says you got to stop emailing people. You've got to talk to your clients and you got to have a discussion. You should charge them extra at that point too. I mean, that's an opportunity for you. Put it in your contract, right? It's Google. They have to follow Google's terms and conditions if you're going to use Google or Microsoft.
Makes perfect sense. I want to drop in another question with respect to this very soon. But while we do that, Swapnil, do you mind sharing the results? I want to know what people really care about at this point. Okay, deliverability as expected. But good thing everyone's not running on a cost-effective approach over here, because that's not the we're trying to fix to get into the primary inbox, and that's what's going to drive revenue. So I want to drop in the question of deliverability. Jesse, how do you measure deliverability?
So the only person this is what's weird about deliverability, the whole conversation. I always see it out there, like our open rate went way up or whatever. I guess I stay back on the deliverability of like what it actually is. Everybody has their own definition. Here's how we do it. We're really, we if I had to look at one metric, it's the reply rate, right? And I'm trying to get like the out of offices can help, right? Because it does help you understand that. But I think in some ways, sometimes the out of offices even probably get sent to some of the people that might have landed in corporate spam too. So that's sort of happening. It might help your deliverability at the end of the day. But I would say for us, it's about reply rate 100%, right? Like that and getting those. And then I think what we look at is I take another step of it. It's like quality of the campaign. And what I look at is I'm looking for like very harsh, and we're looking for like the harshness of how the person, a couple of these respond. If we're getting a lot of these, like, please never email me again. I don't want you to breathe anymore. I hope your family, whatever. Those ones right there, we look for those. And if we start to see those, that's a time you got to go really have a conversation with the person you're sending it for or yourself. Like, you probably are pissing other people off too. They're just being nice about it. You could be in a room of people and you could say something that's inappropriate, but like somebody will call you out, and that person, maybe they shouldn't have called you out, but like at the same time, like, why would somebody go so harsh on you? And they're having a bad day. I wouldn't sweat it, like move on. But at the same time, like, what are you sending? Like, how is this? Talk to your clients about that. Be like, make them answer those questions. Like, I think people got to take a break on sort of like going after Smartlead or going after, like, I'm sure it's crazy, but like, take a step back. What are you selling? Like that's something we do. So we look at disconnects as our number one now, because disconnects, the webhook for disconnects, we built a dashboard here. I'll even show it just to show you guys. This is what we look at right here for our disconnects. What we look at, the top layer is our sort of our like how we look at it is we basically look at like how many per client there. And then over here, we're going to look at like, hey, is it Google? Is it Microsoft? Like which inbox is disconnecting a lot, like that. And we look for trends, right? That's what you look for in data. You're looking for trends. What we do is we put this into a database, and then we take it back through GPT Analyst, and we just look for trends, and we get reported out on all of these trends. And the trends themselves actually look, data without any time or sort of a couple of different data points, like it's hard to really measure it. So if you're not measuring this, you can kind of look and say like, okay, this client is causing a lot of problems. Like, what is up here? Because we try to divide out our inboxes pretty evenly or based on the campaign we're running. So this is something that we definitely take a look at. We're very strict on this. And if we start to see a lot of lockouts, I start to look at how much money they're paying me a month, and I determine if I want to keep them or not, right? That's what I would say you want to do.
Very interesting. Okay.
Because if you're getting, I mean, you need to start really taking a owner. And if you're running Smartlead, you're probably in the group of people that I think would want to do this. But you need to start charging people accordingly. Because what's going to happen is you're gonna take on all, like, start out by saying your lead generation program is closed and you need to apply for the program, and start there and take on less clients. But take on the ones you'd actually take a gamble on in terms of buying the product. Like, if the thing just sounds like crap and they're going to be on a 1 month contract, like, by the way, and this is another thing, just because you're at 80 MRR, 80K MRR or 60K MRR, you could be at 10 the next month if you're taking on bad clients. So don't worry less about where you're at from an MRR. I know that's like the big, all the SaaS kids are talking about how much MRR they're making, but it doesn't really matter if it's not trailing 12 months. So take a look at your trailing 12 months and I'll tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be a lot lower than you wanted it to be. So take on the right clients, invest in them. And if they're assholes, just cut them, right? Like, it's very easy. Like, I've caught, I mean, there's a couple floating around now that I think have gone to 4 different Smartlead companies already. And I'm like, I tell them exactly why I caught them. I think there's going to have to be more accountability on the client end, to be honest with it.
I completely agree with you. Just before that's a very, very interesting screen, Jesse. What is that? B, how can people get access to that? I think this chat's been flooded.
So we've, basically we've got it all set up in our environment. We have an add-on, and all it does is it connects into your Smartlead API, and basically it does that. We're not storing any data or anything. We don't have like a database tied to it or anything. So what we're doing, except for like the disconnects or stuff that we don't have like access to any there, but we're trying to just follow the roadmap on there. But where we've invested more is the inbox setup stuff. So like automation around how do you create accounts? How do you because like you could run 60 accounts into the month and you could have another $5 charge times 60. I mean, you could lose the whole profit margin on the whole account, right?
Yeah. Sorry, while so just the only question I'm going to ask is, can people pay for that? What you've just shared on your screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind linking it in the chat?
Sure.
I think a bunch of people actually want that. Cool. That is actually, I've asked my team to be like, hey, see what he's doing, because we're not doing that. We need to do that. Okay. Team, if you're not dropping in questions in the Q&A, we won't be able to pick it up. I know you're dropping into the chat, so please drop it into the Q&A. It's right next to
let's go. I'm here.
Yeah, Q&A. Yeah, so I'm gonna drop in very quickly and take some Q&A questions, then we'll go back into our agenda. One question that was asked by Sunny, which is a good one, is if you're talking about follow-up messages, do you actually go ahead and send any sales assets in follow-up messages? Do you send it as links? Do you send it as attachments? What's your go-to over here?
So as we're advising or telling people to do it, like, our biggest thing is to, if you think about what you're doing, you got a group of people that you think might be interested in your offer. Let's say there's 3% of those people that are actually in market that could actually make a decision on this right now. Hopefully at least 3%, right? Or maybe you don't have the right offer. What we would do there is I always wonder, like, people say sales, all this asset stuff, like, the thing that kind of gets me a little bit is like, hey, if I'm getting a cold email from somebody, I'm all like, I'm not going to, like, I don't have time to look at any like assets or anything like that. Like, here's what I do.
Sorry, just to jump in, this is a follow-up message. It's not the first email. It's a follow-up message. Yeah.
So we'll look at the follow-up. Have they responded yet? I guess is the
So okay, let's probably not, right? They haven't responded.
Okay, so if they haven't responded and you're following up and you're like sort of annoying, you're kind of being annoying again. You're not really offering any value again, right? You're kind of like, hey, you know what? You want to hang out? Like, it's like, it's really just like sort of like a little bit of an indicative. It's like working with you would probably be pretty hard, right? Like you'd be a little bit, I mean, I'm not trying to, you're kind of like an annoying ex-girlfriend, right? Like I don't know. I hear it and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, take your offer out, tell them why it's a good fit, tell them where it's relevant, tell a few stories, and then stop messaging the person. You don't have to, like, they're going to respond to you if they like it. And if they like it, I mean, if you send an asset, here's what I'll ask. My follow-up on the asset would be, and this is annoying, but just But what the follow-up on the asset would be this, would be, what's the asset have in it that I can't find out in the email? Like, I pretty much know what
Yeah.
you're selling by
Yeah.
messaging me.
Yep. Yep.
I'm going to
Yep.
compare it to other things that I've seen, and I'm not going to do any additional work. I'm not going to click on links because I know there's like, phishing opportunities for links and just weird stuff that can happen when you click on links. I could show you some of the weird stuff that happens, but you just don't want to get into that game. And if you're not no one's looking at your assets, like, stop wasting your time preparing them. Just go out there with the offer, make it clear, hit the question, try to get a response, a direct response. It's like a text, right? Do that, and do that fast, and move on if they're not interested.
Makes sense to me. Listen to your, I think it was when I was speaking to you, you actually gave me this advice on one of our many calls where you mentored me through things where you pretty much said you need to care about the no's as much as you care about the yeses, right? You need to listen to why people are telling you to F off. Like, that's just as important as why people are interested in saying yes to you, because that's the clear indicative that your offer is not working. Like, if you're getting such a visceral response from someone, that's not a good thing, right? So don't just ignore that, work with it and actually change it. So completely with you on that piece over there. I want to jump in some other quick questions. So Jesse, some quick question that someone has asked me over here is one person wants to know effectively how I can go ahead and use another email service other than Outlook or Gmail. What else exists in the market? What can we do next?
So this is the topic on everyone's mind right now. So the people who are doing it are probably, I noticed, I know Eric posted today, Eric Nolowski, a friend of mine, sort of in the group, but posted about the ones he's looking at. I would start there. If you want to look at his post or whatever today that he made, he's talking about the ones that he's doing. If you're going to do that, you're going to start to need to understand a lot more. When you go out and you start to build your own SMTP infrastructure, you're going to really start to have to understand some things. And I'm going to tell you, in every single thing in life, it comes down to one thing. It comes down to money, right? So if you're going to go do that, you're going to have to invest on a couple of areas. One area you're going to want to do is you're going to want to invest in the technology team that's building that for you. You're going to want to do that. And then you're going to want to invest, because that you're going to have to get a group that really understands like email architecture and like, deeply, right? There's some people out there, if you go into the SaaS Yacht Club, there's some people in there that talk about it and things like that. I don't want to get in too deep there. There's also a lot of like mystery there too, and they keep it mysterious for a reason, because it's one of those areas that you want to be careful, right? But the second part of it, that question is, it's probably going to be on Google or Microsoft again. The answer is probably going to be there. There's going to be people with challenges, but like, it's probably just going to be their next version of, you're going to have to maintain the server and the services that are part of that cloud infrastructure. So if you're on Google, you're probably going to be going up to like their enterprise tier. But let me tell you something, you're going to probably be working with a reseller. You're probably going to be doing something like, there's going to have, the reseller is going to kind of have to understand what you're doing, because they have a reputation too. It all comes down to this, right? It comes down to like what type of business you're trying to be. So if you are going to do that, right, and it does make sense in some cases, because you're going to be taking offers out that maybe other people don't want. I mean, look, there's a bunch of places in my, payday loan places around town, right, in certain parts of our town. But it's like, you don't want those like all next to your house, right? Like, that's not a great look around your house, right? You want to kind of be in a nicer neighborhood, hopefully. But, it just depends on what kind of clients you're going to take on, right? If you're taking on clients that really need those like payday loan, kind of offers, like whatever, fine, go do that. You probably have to negotiate in the, what I'm hearing, and everybody wants to own parts of businesses. So there's probably it's probably a 5-figure investment right now for you. So you'd be looking at a little bit over $10,000 probably. You're probably gonna have to invest in an annual contract of some sort. right, for an enterprise agreement based on
So
consumption.
this is for these custom SMTP providers, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're gonna probably be looking there. I mean, is that what you're hearing? I mean, that'd probably be the case, right?
Yeah, it's not cheap. It's in the five figures for sure, from at least the
Yep.
people who have been vocal about expressing it. The names that Eric has mentioned, the names we've seen on various dark circles, they're not cheap. So I know what you mean.
And they're worth it. I mean, they're worth it. I mean, obviously protect yourself. I mean, I'm seeing a couple. I saw one who took their offer out for 249. And
Yep.
they got enough customers to be able to afford the 5-figure investment that they would have needed to make, but they're in like, they've got too many clients paying 249. And by the way, you don't charge somebody, you're not taking on 249 clients if you do a 5-figure investment in one of these services, right? Like, so that company is struggling a lot. And I watch, it's actually funny. I wake up in the morning, I mean, obviously the algorithm figured out that I like it, but it's on Facebook and I see this one vendor and they literally cannot get these inboxes up. They've been trying so hard.
we both know who they are. Know what you
I
are.
feel bad. I mean, they look like good people, but they're gonna fail. And if you're giving them your money every month, you're crazy, and you should be getting your money back. I mean, 249 a month, like, come on, man. It's
going to
cost
be
a lot more than that to play like that,
Yeah.
right? You got to have a lot more money than that.
100%. So I want to jump into some more questions over here because it's being flooded and a lot of interesting questions come in. So Lucas asked a good question. Google talked about the 5,000 day per limit. Obviously, that's a big topic while we're here. When they say organization level, they're speaking on a company level, which is the workspace level, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about this one. So when you're looking at the workspace limit, this complaint rate, most of these companies a lot of these companies are using sort of like Outreach or like SalesLoft or one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that are going to really have a problem, because what's going to happen is that group is still sending, and their IT is going to get involved and say, we can't send from another, because there is security issues that start to pop up when you start sending from other domain names, right? You're kind of susceptible to maybe a phishing attack, you could argue.
Yep.
I don't know. There's a lot of other like conversations that go on. And if you're a SOC 2 compliant company, you're going to have to really kind of work some magic here, right? Give me a call. We can talk about it. But what you're going to run into is they will ban. Now, I don't think they're screwing around. And look, I think they would love to make an example out of this is the company that I could see, right? It's like your company that has 10 SDRs who are sending from one of these larger SaaS sort of sequencer, enterprise grade sequencer, or whatever they call it, which I don't think they're enterprise grade anymore, really. I think they have to kind of dump that. But they're sending from those, and I think they have 10 SDRs who have this copy and pasted sequence, which, was sort of a lie when they told you that it was a, manual sequence anyways. It's really just a copy and pasted message like everybody else is doing. And what one of those is going to be, they're going to make an example out of one of those companies. I'm dying to see who it's going to be. We've got a little bit of a pool going on who it's going to be. But what's going to happen is one of those companies is going to lose access to Google. And you're going to see a freak out email from somebody. And someone's going to be like, what the hell's going on? And I got a few of them last year, but it was relative to the SDR. So it was like, I've got two or three. I got a call from like chief revenue officers, chief CISOs, CIOs of like 150. I got one that's like a 500 person company, and they have like 3 people locked out. And what their IT team is worried about is they're worried about that, like, and this is not using Smartlead, actually. This clearly, people on Smartlead know you got to go put this on other orgs out there, right? Like, people are smart enough to figure that out, right? Like, you got to move around. You cannot be on your own company's organizational. Like, that is like, what are you, crazy? Like, I can't believe companies are. I look at my complaint rate on my main domain. There is not, I have never done anything on there that is even, I would never send a cold, I would never send a cold email on my primary domain.
Primary domain.
That is the dumbest thing you could possibly do. It's like, what are you doing? You're crazy. Like, stop doing it. And people figured that out 5 years ago. I don't know why people are still doing that.
It's just a thing, right, that the market works with. On that note, I want to drop in a question with respect to this with Google as a topic. What are your thoughts on resellers? I think that's a common question that people tend to ask. Do you buy directly from Google? Do you VPN into like a Southeast Asia network? Do you go through resellers? What's the go?
So I haven't really done much exploratory on resellers. I think there's some value there. You're going to need to probably work with resellers eventually, because what resellers are going to do is essentially what you're going to need is, look, Google's sales team is not going to be getting on the phone with people who are running cold email businesses, right? It's just not something they're looking to do. They're probably like, we make a little bit of money on these people, like maybe 150 million, but guess what? We just had a company pay $150 million on, 3-server cloud compute, like who cares? Like they don't care, right?
Yeah.
So these resellers are going to sort of bridge some of that gap. Hopefully, so Google's going to have to approve these resellers. There's probably going to be more of them because they're going to start to, it's a pay to play situation in all of these cases, right? So resellers can probably help you. They can probably get your costs down. I would also be careful of where you're going for these resellers, because the resellers themselves, if they start to develop a reputation of taking on a bunch of, you're really going to have to be concerned about who you're working with. If you're making this your business, if you're just like a SaaS company or doing whatever, you probably want to offload this on some agency that can handle this for you. Like this is going to be a bigger problem. It's going to keep getting worse. So everything you're seeing now, double how bad that is right now, and it's going to go to the other level. It's going to get to the next extreme of whatever you're seeing now. It's going to get doubly as bad by the end of next year.
Yep, noted. I have an interesting one from a reputable person. And I think this comes down to the messaging a bit, because I've actually seen conflicting messages from other people who've spoken to their support. Fede asked the question saying, I spoke to Google support and they guarantee that the new guidelines of 5,000 emails a day refer to a single account sending 5,000 emails a day, not a domain, not a workspace, and not an org level, just an individual account. Can we address this?
So Google has said, if you read it, there's one line that says, look, they're always cryptic about their stuff. If you look, this happened with SEO back in the day, right?
Yeah.
They're very cryptic and they don't always like to share it. And by the way, they probably don't care. They probably have a team of contractors like from Cognizant or something that are just dealing with this thing. And like, there's probably nobody actually really looking at it, right?
We're just losing our shit over here.
Yeah, we're just all like panicking. But here's what's really happening. They're going to look at your org. The other thing they're going to do is they're going to, if it gets escalated, it's going to be a very low level person at Google, right? It's going to be somebody that's going to be like, okay, how much does this person spend with Google total, right? They're going to have your data. They're going to know how much you spend on ads. They're going to know how much you spend on cloud compute, which is, by the way, this is an opportunity for Google too, right? Think about it, right? Like if they don't have you in their cloud program and you're talking to their sales team, and you're on because they know if you're on Microsoft, or they have understanding of how much you're spending with Microsoft, and they know how big your footprint is with AWS. Maybe this is an opportunity for them with your CISO or your CIO or whatever. If you're a big enough company, you're probably going to be able to negotiate. So the answer is there's just no hard, like, I know it says 0.3, but that's just what the email standard is. The email standard on everything is 0.3. Everything is, AWS is 0.1, right? So like everyone's talking about like 0.3. It just says Google's just telling you we have ignored this problem for too long, and we're not going to ignore it anymore. That's what they're saying, and it was obvious they were going to do it at some point, because what the problem that they run into is this. What if because email is not owned by anybody, the rest of the companies in the world start to really say, you know what? Google doesn't send great emails, right? And that's what was starting to happen, right? So they need to trim the fat. Now, if you look at what happened to Zoho took on a large number of bad emails very quickly when the word got out that you could go on there for $1 a month and do it. Look what happened now. They crushed all those accounts. They gave you back a credit for your Zohos, and they're not sending any more cold emails anymore. Everybody's off. So they've now they're in compliance. Now the next thing that's going to happen is Microsoft's going to be like, shit, now Google has a better reputation than us. That's not good. Right. So that's what's going to happen next. I mean, it's going to be a back and forth.
Cat and mouse. Yes. It's always how it is, right? It's like you keep going front and back. So diversification is an absolute must.
Like, don't focus on the 5,000 bulk sender guidelines. It's gonna change, and it's gonna change again every single day. If you're gonna be committed to this, you're in it. You either decide. I mean, I'm in it, right? Join me in the group, right? Like we've got a lot of people that are in it. but
Mhm.
you're going to lose if you don't team up with a group. And Smartlead is the best. Like, I wouldn't go anywhere else right now. Obviously, I've worked with people who are using Smartlead. There's just no reason to work with any other groups of people right now. But you're going to have to focus on this, and you're going to have to really understand what you're doing.
Yep. I'm on board with you on this. I know running off on time, but there's so many questions. I'll just drop, maybe 2, 3 more questions tops, and I'll call it at that. So sweet. So for everyone's reference, basically this is cryptic, but the whole 5,000 messages is by default has always been Google's max per account. I think we'll find out, because like I said,
So what are they're saying 5,000 emails per account? Like, are they, what do they mean by that? I'm trying to.
yeah. So right now we've got the message that's been sent out by everyone that's viral in the market is
No,
5,000
I've
on a
seen that, but
workspace
I mean,
level.
they're saying that
Yeah,
I
but
think Google is
they're saying it's
2,000.
5,000 per individual account, like jesse@gmail.com.
Oh, well, I think it's 2,000 per month, actually. Or sorry, 2,000 per day.
Per day, right? So
So it's
it's
not,
like I
so
said,
5,000 is high. It sounds high. I didn't think they have I think that's a little high on the
not even
limit.
on professional they have to. I think it's 2,000 even on professional. So
Yeah, even the high end program, it's 2,000
yep,
per day.
yep.
You could
So
go
that's
to the
something.
Google.
It's very conflictive. Like I've spoken to support yesterday when the announcement. Well, no, sorry, I spoke to the support 2 weeks ago when that announcement came out about a month and a bit ago, and they said it was a workspace level. So that's when I started prompting everyone with the 10 domains, 5 mailboxes per domain, and 50 messages. But I
It's
guess we'll have to
workspace
find.
level. It's workspace
Yeah.
level. I'll tell you how you know, because that email that Outreach sent out, I mean, clearly
Mhm.
they're definitely in communication with the right people at Google, right?
Yep.
And they should be, right? Because that's their entire business model, right?
Yeah, they're a massive company, billion-dollar business. What they would be doing.
When they have to send that email out, that doesn't, by the way, that email, ask yourself this: what does that email do for their sales team in their quarter?
They get
Those
cooked. They're
deals are
cooked.
in the
Like
gutter,
that
right?
message was not sent out of. It was sent from desperation, saying we've tried everything under the sun, and now we have no choice but to do this. Yeah.
They are telling you, we have been told.
Yeah.
Google is, look, and they probably have offered a lot. Like, there's a big
Yep.
offer that they had to make to say, hey, Google, please don't do this.
Yep.
Please, Google, do not do
Yes.
this. This will kill us.
Yep.
And it will if they, I mean, the problem is all of the other vendors that are doing it with the way that they're doing it, where they partnered to the integration with OAuth 2, what they've done in a sense is they've shown their cards, and they've given up on their end users, in my opinion.
Yep.
And the reason that that's bad is because OAuth 2 does not allow you to do the things that you need to do to actually keep these emails alive. And Google does not own email. They don't. So if you
Yep.
comply to those for tight integration with Gmail, it's
We
a
should be good.
different, it's just not the
Want
right
to jump
scenario.
into one or two quick questions. Sorry,
Yeah.
because of being contentious of time. So there's a common question that comes in: OAuth versus SMTP. Does that have deliverability issues? What have you observed? We'd love your feedback.
Yeah. So you want to securely connect to the highest security. So like everyone, when somebody asks me this, I'm like, of course, if you're connecting with SMTP, like, you want to connect with the highest security you can possibly connect with. Why would you want to connect? Because OAuth, look, and there'll be a time where you're going to have to use SMTP, right? It's getting close to that now. But when you do that, you're now using app secure password, and you're doing something, right? I'm talking if you're on Google or Microsoft, you're now using a very, very, very unsafe. I'm talking about on that workspace right now. Remember, that's why you want to keep these workspaces in a sandbox, more environment, or you want to run them for your clients, of course, in a different, maybe a reseller, whatever. But you want to always connect with the highest form of security. OAuth 1 is much more secure than SMTP. SMTP is like, you have to give up a password to the inbox where they can log it. Like, that doesn't have any security. There's nothing protecting it outside of that one password. Now, obviously you can limit it, and you could protect it as if you think it's going to get compromised, but like, don't use SMTP if you can avoid it, right? Like, SMTP is the lowest, the API.
Yeah, it's the lowest barrier of entry, right? Like anyone can connect into
Yeah.
it, so there's not much to
Yeah.
do. Yep.
Now, you're not going to connect with OAuth 2 because you're going to get into some trouble, right? That's where
Correct.
those other companies got into trouble. They thought
Yeah.
by partnering with integration, they would protect them, and they didn't. Obviously, they're now letting them kind of die. They're going to probably try to kill them. And they chose their way, and they now realize that they're going to have a hard problem. And that's why they're sending out emails like they're doing. But that's what's going on.
Okay. Jesse, one final question.
Yeah.
And this is the question that a bunch of people said they've seen a sudden drop in their overall email activity, some, not all, over the last week and following through. What are your thoughts over here? Do you think it's climactic? Do you think it's Google, deliverability, people being out of office? What's happening according to your insight? I don't want to put you on the spot here.
So I'm not seeing anything dramatic. I've obviously you see different. There just hasn't. Look, if there, I have I have the ops team will call me sometimes and they'll say, Jesse, we think this is the end. They'll call me every week. Every week I get the same nasty call from the ops team, right? And when we're working, I'm like, okay, let's look at this one. Okay, that makes sense. I could see why that one would drop. Like there's a huge thing of cause and correlation. Ice cream doesn't cause drowning, kind of thing. It's the nice weather and the sun and people are out inside the beach, they're playing. Yeah. So it's like you run into these problems and you see this and people just like the sky's falling and then you go and look and you're like there's somebody who's like Namecheap is now the word, you can't register domains there. I see this all the time. And then I'm like, yeah, but you didn't set up any records and you had quarantine on and now you're in spam, but you're telling the person to put you in spam. Oh, I didn't know that. So I think it starts with the operational side to really understand do we have all the records set up? Do we have everything set up? Are we running new campaigns? What's the messaging in those campaigns? What's the ask? Those are the issues. Most of the time, I haven't seen a drop. If I did, I would probably not even be on this webinar. I'd be too busy trying to fix it and figure it out. But,
okay,
times
cool.
are good.
No,
if you see times are good.
No, that's what I wanted to hear, and I knew that put you on the spot. So that's unadulterated or straightforward. So everyone, whoever is facing issues, it's not to do with the climate or whatever. You just need to jump back a bit, review your campaign, review your copy, review your technicals, and then ensure you're back on the horse. Because the people who are crushing it, no complaints from their side. I know I keep saying last question, but I will do my best to make this the last one. I want to understand from your side, Jesse, 90% of lead gen is very similar. What can agencies do to stand out in 2024?
Start talking about this problem and be better than anybody else. And what I mean by that is, and don't go so desperate for clients on this one. If you're using Smartlead, you have a huge opportunity. You've already figured out that, and look, I'll be here, assuming we can stay in the primary, but look, the bottom line is this really, if you're doing the Smartlead and you understand like how to do this, you're not on like the latest AppSumo LTD or whatever the hell is out there. You've started to invest now into this, start talking about this, and you'll sign clients based on this. And maybe you're not even going to need to really worry about, you want to, just like outreach would do, they detach from the result of your campaign. They don't, like, outreach isn't calling you and saying, hey, we see your campaigns are performing low. Let us help you with the copy. They're saying, we don't know. We have nothing to do with this. And we don't even know what we're talking about right now. Right. Like that's what they do. They take that out to the market and detach from the outcome. That's probably what you need to do. But you need to probably put out some content around this. If you're here, you probably have the content already. You've already made it. And by the way, the content that I'm doing lately, I'm shocked. I never thought it could go as far as it does, but I'm telling you, like, there's a reach of when I put out something on email deliverability that goes for miles. And if you post something related to Smartlead, you're going to notice I'll probably engage in it probably pretty heavily. And, so I'll tell you that will help you a lot there. I'll make sure it does. So, let me know. We can partner on different stuff. But look, it's email deliverability is a good topic to talk about. Your clients are struggling with this. Start to put more of the value there. Maybe even lower your costs and allow them to build all the campaigns and sort of like, you've already figured out how to really go scale an infrastructure if you can keep these domains healthy and keep the inboxes happy. Like that's what you want to start to scale, and that'll be a more sustainable. Because a lot of these companies, they just jump around from lead gen to lead gen agency, and they just say one more. They just ignore that and start to take them on an application process.
I could not resonate on that point more. The reason why you drive in your traffic is because you've honestly just become the email delivery expert, infrastructure expert now, right? That's how you built that profile up.
So on B2B, that's probably where I'm focused.
Yeah, that's kind of where you're crushing it. Cool. I want to be respectful of your time. It was meant to be 30 minutes. It's gone to 45.
Totally cool, man. This is awesome.
This is super appreciative of this. I think we've had a ton of engagement from everyone. One last question over here,
Keep
everyone.
going.
If you here's one last question again and again and again.
I get to 11, so if you want.
Okay, great. So I'll pull it. I think everyone wants a bunch of questions answered, so we'll do a few more minutes of this. Wait, what's your take on catch-all emails? Do I message them? Do I not message them?
Oh, this is a good one. I am so deep into this one.
Yeah.
I like right now. I like catch-all deliverable emails. I've had very like a lot of people ignore those and they won't touch them. They're fine if you're using Smartlead. You're fine. I've been finding there's another thing going on there that is this waterfall thing is starting to be. I mean, I posted about it a while back, but like
Yeah.
this waterfall thing is starting to become a little bit of a scam, in my opinion.
Mhm.
This is a little bit of a hot take.
Mhm.
But like
We love hot takes.
the waterfall catch-all stuff is all. So the only way it's a legitimate service that's doing that is they're using like a database or they're using and that might be fine for you too. But the other way they could be doing is they're emailing the person 24, 48 hours later. That's fine too, but that's just not in our process. I wouldn't wait 48 hours for anything personally, but on that, like that front. And so it's like, I need the emails now. So I'll get the list and I'll get the valids and the deliverable catch-alls. That's probably fine. But what's happening is the accuracy stuff is, and I know, and I think they probably even like I saw Eric's stuff on that, and I've even like said, dude, come on, man, we got to talk about this data. So you got to be careful. There's the vendors there's some good ones out there that I've tested that they have the right approach. We could go into like a really deep level on this because I have this one down. Like my engineering team, we've been fixing this one big time.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. So if I were to summarize that, can I message them? Do I not message
deliverable catch-alls? Yes, I would go after deliverable catch-alls as long as you have multiple domains and you're not getting already a high bounce rate. The hard bounces you want to stay away from. You want to do that. You want to see if it passes. The other ones I would avoid. I don't love late stage larger companies that have first name. I don't like the first name catch-alls. Those are bad because those are not the person. If it's GE, the mark at ge.com is not working there anymore, probably.
100%.
Unlikely.
150,000 people, you've not got one mark. That is
they don't
fact.
have one first name email there anymore.
Yeah, there's one mark. Yeah. Before everyone drops off, Jesse, could you please drop in, like several people asked, what's that plugin? Can you drop in the plugin link over here? Because they just open the chat and drop it in. I think before it gets lost. Everyone, what we'd like for you to do is, if you're not part of the Smartlead Slack channel, please join that Slack channel and drop in your questions over here. Any pending questions, we are going to go ahead and answer it on that note. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming in, a real-time master inbox coming in. If you want to work with Jesse, what's the best place to find you and where's the best place to work with you?
Right now, I've been pivoting a bit. I'm really spending a lot of time in the SaaS Yacht Club, actually.
Okay.
And if people want to get to me there, they can just come in. It's pretty simple. It's funny. I spend more time there than anything else. And I have clients that are paying a lot of money. And I'm like, geez, I got to probably look at this a little bit. Hopefully none of them are on this call. There probably are some, though. I know there's some, but they're fans. They're not going to leave it. They're not going to leave that easily. But you know how it is. I mean, we're find me there, DM me. I try to get to everything. Like I'm really weird about that. I do have like power blocks. I'm trying to like optimize that system to get to everybody, but message me if I drop your email once, like message me again. Kind of be annoying, I guess, maybe if it's really important, but like, let's talk. Let's try to figure it out.
Right? It's the fifth one where we need to stop messaging you. Yeah, no, I got it.
Probably won't block you.
All right. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, everyone. We've got tons of events like this happening. We've got Eric coming in. We've got some big players coming in over here. Watch out for some massive feature updates we got in Smartlead. And thank you. Have a fantastic day, fantastic night and weekend. If we don't see you next week, we'll see you in the next one. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. There's webinars coming in the week after this, the week after this, the week after that. There's a lot of energy coming in. Please show up for those events. A lot of value popping in for you from the Smartlead team and from people like Jesse who've been fantastic with their time. Thank you, Jesse. Have a great day. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic day. Cheers.
See you back in the primary.
See you in the primary, mate.